At women's marches, a spotlight is missing on murdered Indigenous women. In a sea of pink pussy hats, this is from PBS, by the way. I'm sure they were so excited they got to write pussy hats in an article. Oh boy! Worn at women's march events nationwide, it was the color red that stood out most for Native Americans and their allies this weekend. In cities across the country, family and friends marked the occasion by spotlighting the scores of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and transgender people, cases that, for decades, have mostly gone unsolved. There was actually a movie about this recently. I forget the name of, but it was a movie. It was a fictional movie, but it was based on some events that did happen, and they pointed out how there's no documentation of murdered Indigenous women. There's no official documentation of that. We don't know the exact number of how many Indigenous women have gone missing and how many have been murdered. Yeah, let that sink in. That's insane. In Phoenix, Bella Ryan points out natives have been invisible people. Cody Jock, a native himself, says it's horrid. In Phoenix, Arizona, Joan marched among tall red banners marked with the name of her sister, Nicole. She died in a domestic violence dispute on Christmas Day, and so far, her accused killer has not been charged. A steady drumbeat kept pace against a backdrop of anti-Trump chants, but for Jo, her cause for marching on this morning gripped at an issue that goes generations deep. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that there were people there representing that cause. I'm very glad to hear that. And I'm not the person most qualified to talk about this. I'm really not. But one thing that I've been told by some colleagues of mine that are stronger activists than I can ever be, that have committed themselves to public service in a way that I can just applaud them for. You know, I certainly can't say I've done anything near the magnitude of them. And they are people of color and they are feminists. They have pointed out to me, Bella Ryan, you are Blackfoot. That's awesome. They have pointed out to me that, you know, while they know the Women's March to be a great thing, and it is, they have pointed out the kind of whiteness of it all, and how it's kind of limited to, you know, the overall, it's kind of just limited to, hey, Trump's really bad and we were fine until he got here. Well, we weren't fine until he got here. There's a lot of issues that are going underrepresented, and Trump is a result of the tragic disease of our political and economic systems and our systems of oppression that apply to the most marginalized among us, you know, the Native Americans, Indigenous women, women of color, and yes, of course, white women too. But it's not just, hey, I'm upper middle class and I don't like Trump. You know, I mean, that's not the movement. It's got to go deeper than that. And, you know, the pink hats is, you know, one of my friends pointed out to me, and, you know, the pink hats, mine doesn't look like that. Why aren't we seeing more purple hats? You know, mine doesn't look like that. She said that to me. That's not me saying. I'm white. But, you know, she said mine doesn't look like that. Where are my hats? Why were my hats not made? She made her own hat. And I applaud her for it. Would this nuance fall under intersectional feminism? Yeah, I think in many ways, yes. Yeah, I would say yes. And I mean, I'm really glad there were some people there displaying red for Indigenous women. I'm glad that was represented. But, you know, how often, and I'm sure it was represented with open arms, at least I certainly hope it was. But yeah, it's good to see that. And hopefully all of this, to try to end on a just kind of positive message note here, hopefully all of this will kind of wake us up more to all of our brothers and sisters in the planet, on the planet. You know, I mean, hopefully Trump has, I mean, it certainly caused an awakening that I've never seen in my lifetime. You know, I mean, the first Cody says he was there singing traditional songs that honor women. That's awesome, Cody. Bella Ryan. Rights are rights, but let's look at Indigenous treatment from the beginning. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's something we need to do, and it's long overdue, and that's an understatement. But hopefully Trump has, I mean, the last big awakening in my lifetime was Iraq. Iraq rattled a lot of people because they were like, why the fuck are we over there? Oh, we're over there because Bush is a liar. Trump is the next big awakening, and I would say it's even more powerful than Iraq was, just as far as stirring people up, which is a good thing. And hopefully it stirs us up in the right way, where we don't just try to get a Democrat back in the White House and then go to sleep again, but where we're really in tune to a lot of the issues affecting those in our society, especially the most marginalized, and how we have a long way to go. Trump hates Native. This is Cody. Trump hates Native people. He attacked my tribe and paid for a hit piece. We need to understand what issues are and resonate with the land and legal system. Marcus points out people like Bush more now. Well, we kind of have a bit of selective amnesia when it comes to the media cycle and when it comes to our status quo and our populace, where all of a sudden Bush is no longer a war criminal. He's just a harmless old guy that paints. He's still a war criminal, and he has no right wagging his finger at anyone, nor do I understand why ethics lawyers from his administration are quote-unquote progressive pundits now. They're not. They're not progressives, nor are they pundits, nor do they have any business wagging their finger at anybody. They should all be in jail. George Bush, Dick Cheney, they should all be in jail. So we do have selective forgetfulness, and that's another problem to add to the heaping pile that we got. But hopefully the younger generation is really waking up, and they're really getting engaged. There's been some studies on that where the generation just after millennials, holy shit, have they woken up. And we need to see that continue. And hopefully this all leads to some more positive actions in making a better society for all of us. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.